Hello, hello, hello. It is I, Jacqueline Job, your empowerment strategist. Today, I am here to talk to you about how to avoid self sabotaging through self awareness. Now, you're going, what is self awareness? Okay, I'm going to tell you what self awareness is. Self awareness is consciously recognizing and understanding your thoughts, emotions, behaviors, strengths, weaknesses, and underlying beliefs. Once again, self awareness is consciously recognizing and understanding your thoughts, emotions, behaviors, strengths, weakness, and underlying beliefs. So when you are self aware, you know who you are, the fullness of who you are, not what somebody else wants you to be, what you think you should be, but you know who you are based on your beliefs, your values, and all of the above. We're going to do a little exercise or a scenario that is going to help us to recognize self sabotage. And then we're going to also try to identify the triggers. What was causing this individual to self sabotage? So let's listen as I read the scenario. There is a talented hairdresser who aspires to open her hair salon. She has a strong portfolio and the necessary skills, but she often finds herself procrastinating when it comes to launching her business. Now, we discussed in the last session that procrastination is self sabotaging. So, now we're going to actually walk through right now the different self sabotaging patterns that this hairdresser is inflicting upon herself. First, excuse making. If you're a person who makes excuses, you are self sabotaging. Let's read. She frequently tells herself that she is not ready to start her business because she needs to improve her skills further, even though her portfolio demonstrates her capabilities. Now, how many of us have made excuses as to why we can't do something, knowing full well that we are capable and fully qualified of doing it? But yet we make those excuses and we start to believe those excuses. That is self sabotage. Next, delaying decisions. She avoids making critical decisions, such as choosing a business name or setting prices, by telling herself that she needs more time to think about it. Delaying decisions. Now, if you are an individual who believes that you self sabotage, do you delay decisions? You say, I'm going to think about it later. You write it down, put it on a to do list. It's there, but then you don't go and do it. You don't think about it, or you'll read it and then you'll just go, I can't focus on this today. I'm going to think about it later. Why? What is triggering you? What is causing you to feel that way? Because one of the triggers can be when you have to actually write out a goal, write out a plan, you might start feeling nervous, having anxiety. That is a trigger. You're understanding what situations are causing you to have emotional stress. So that might be a trigger for you. Decision making. You're like, what is it exactly? Decision making. So instead of you making a decision, you delay the decision. So decision making for you might be a trigger because you might be that type of individual who would rather have somebody tell you, you should do this. You should go here. You should say this. You should act like this. But when it comes to you having to make that decision, you get nervous because you're used to other people's input. So that might be a trigger for you that is causing you to self sabotage because you have to make decisions. But now that you know, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm going to come back. But now that you know that decision making is a trigger, you need to figure out some things that you can put in place that will help you when you have to make decisions. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the scenario. Perfectionism. She wants her business to be perfect from the start. She spends excessive amount of time tweaking her website and promotional materials, striving for an unattainable level of perfection. We discussed in the prior section that perfectionism is self-sabotaging because no one is perfect. So once again, this is an avoidance mechanism. Why? You're delaying. You're delaying the process because you're trying to make it perfect. So you're saying to yourself secretly, okay, if I continue to work on this, then I don't have to actually go forward with the plans. Do you see that? Are you catching that? You're self-sabotaging. You're trying to be perfect, knowing that you can't be perfect, but it's delaying the process. So in the process of delaying the process, you are not doing what it is that you set out to do. So you're self-sabotaging yourself. Her next one, fear of failure. Deep down, she fears that her business might fail. Don't we all? She worries that if it doesn't succeed, it will be a reflection of her own inadequacies. So she hesitates to fully commit. Failure, fear, I can't even get it out. Failure should not stop you from reaching your goals, from trying to accomplish your goals. Just like when people say, if someone says no, you go and try again, because all you can do is improve. They can give you a yes or no. If they say no, go back and improve, try again. They say no again, go back and improve, try again. And eventually you're going to get that yes. So a fear of failure, honestly, it is natural, but you're not supposed to let that fear of failure stop you. That's just a thought that's there, but you're supposed to go ahead and say, I can do this. You need to reaffirm yourself. Affirm yourself saying that I can do this. I am fully qualified. I am capable. I am knowledgeable of this. So I can do this. And I'm going to go and do what I set out to do. And then her last one is self doubt. Despite her skills and accomplishments, she doubts whether she's truly capable of running a successful business. She often compares herself to other successful entrepreneurs and feels like an imposter. Once again, we talked about this in the last session. We talked about a lot of good things in the last session. So if you did not watch that recording, I need you to go back and watch that recording because she's comparing herself to others. That's doomed from the start because you're not like anybody else. You are uniquely you. You are an individual created uniquely. Nobody's like you. Nobody has the talents that you have and can apply those talents the way you were gifted to apply those talents. So, therefore, you should not be comparing yourself to anyone else. Yes, there might be someone out there in the same field that you are trying to get in or you are in, but guess what? You are all doing something different. So you cannot compare yourself to that person. And that person might be successful, yes. But once again, you don't know where they started. You don't know their beginnings into where they are right now. So stop comparing yourself. So she needs to stop comparing herself. Now, we're going to discuss her consequences for her self-sabotaging patterns. Now, we recognize the self-sabotage. We identified them. The patterns were excuse making, delaying decisions, perfectionism, fear of failure, and self-doubt. Now, these are the consequences for her self-sabotage. Her procrastination and self-doubt prevent her from launching her business, delaying her progress and potential income. She feels frustrated and stuck, leading to increased stress and self-criticism. Opportunities pass her by because she's unable to take timely action. Once again, One of her triggers is decision making. She stresses when she has to make decisions. She avoids critical decisions. Why? Because that is a stressor for her. So she needs to go back and try to create some kind of strategy that is going to help her when she has to make decisions. She can have a journal, a notebook, and inside of the journal, it can say decision making strategies. Write down number one, write out my choices or write out my decisions. Two, what are the pros and cons of my decisions? Three, what choice do I truly desire? Four, what is stopping me from choosing the choice that I truly desire? And then continue on from there. So that is just one strategy to help with a trigger, which we found out for her is decision making. Now, another trigger for this hairdresser is, I'm going to say, comparing and contrasting. Comparing and contrasting. This hairdresser has an issue, or she self sabotages because she always compares herself to others. She looks and she sees how the other individual is like her and how the other individual is not like her. And then from there, she begins to feel some type of way, or she panics because she has some of the same similarities, but there may be a lot of differences. So then she goes, since I don't have this, and this, I'm going to fail. I don't do it like they do it, so I'm not going to succeed. So she begins to panic. So now she needs to once again identify the trigger and then put some strategies in place that are going to help her not to compare herself to others. But she needs to actually write down, or for this strategy, she might need to say affirmations. I am knowledgeable. I am um, productive. I have a strong portfolio. I already have a huge client base. I have references. I have good reviews. I am the hairstylist with the most. Things like that that are going to encourage her, help her to see, oh, yeah, these are my good qualities. I can do this. That is what she needs to put in place when she begins to feel triggered because she is comparing herself to others. So I just gave two different strategies, one on comparing and then one on decision making. So I hope this helps you to understand how to recognize when you're self-sabotaging, identifying the different patterns for self-sabotaging, and then understanding the triggers and knowing what you need to do to combat those triggers. The first step in avoiding self sabotage is to recognize when it is happening. Now, I'm going to run through this list and just talk on them very briefly. We have unfulfilled goals. If you repeatedly set goals for yourself but fail to achieve them, it may be a sign of self sabotage. Procrastination. Chronic procrastination, especially on tasks that are important to you, can indicate self sabotage. Negative self talk. Pay attention to your inner dialogue, the things that you say to yourself. If you frequently engage in self criticism, doubt your abilities, or tell yourself that you can't do something, you may be undermining your own efforts. Perfectionism. Striving for perfection is very admirable. Very, very, very. But it leads to paralysis or a refusal to move forward. Fear of success. Some individuals fear success as much as failure. If you find yourself avoiding opportunities for advancement or success, you might be self sabotaging. We talked about that. Setting unrealistic standards. Constantly setting impossible high standards for yourself can set you up for failure. This is self sabotage. Imposter syndrome. Feeling like a fraud or believing that your accomplishments are due to luck rather than your abilities. Avoiding responsibilities. Shift blaming to external factors, other people, or circumstances instead of taking responsibilities for your actions. Self isolation, isolating yourself from others, or avoiding social interaction to prevent exposure of your perceived or preconceived flaws. Mhm. Financial mismanagement. If you constantly mishandle your finances, overspend, or avoid financial planning, it can undermine your long term financial goals and security. Relationship conflict. Engaging in behaviors that create conflict or distance in a personal or professional relationship can be self sabotaging. Ignoring feedback. If you consistently dismiss feedback from others and refuse to seek out constructive criticism, you might be missing out on opportunities to help yourself or improve on your personal growth. Last one, staying in your comfort zone. Always sticking to what's comfortable and familiar can indicate self sabotage. Growth often requires stepping outside of your comfort zone. Once again, the first step in avoiding self sabotage is recognizing when it is happening. This was just a list of some things that you can be doing that is self sabotaging. If you realize that you are doing any of these things, I need you to stop, reflect, think about why you're doing it. What is the end result of you doing these? And try to figure out how you can help yourself not to do these things. I hope that these tips that you received on how to avoid self sabotaging through self awareness was helpful. Remember, self awareness serves as a powerful tool for breaking the cycle of self sabotage. It allows you to step back, assess your thoughts and behaviors objectively, and make conscious choices that align with your goals and values. Once again, this has been Jacqueline Jobs of Empowering Others to Excel. I hope that you will go forth and excel in everything that you set your mind to. If you need any assistance, visit the website eoechangeagent.com. Check out our consultations and coaching. We are here for you.